Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to Marvel Plus. My name is Brett Scott. I am your host, and this is the show. The show normally dedicated to the Disney Plus Marvel series and solely the Disney Plus Marvel series. But where are the Disney Plus Marvel series? What are we going to do here? We'll get into some more of that. This is kind of a special episode. Wasn't originally intending to do this. In fact, I want to get into a little bit of that. Let's start the show proper. So it's been too long. It's been 6 months, 5 months, and it seems as though it's going to be 8 months before we get another Disney Plus Marvel series, which is insane. That's insane. Like, when I started this podcast, I had it on good faith. I was positive that there was going to be enough Disney Plus series and specials and things like that to keep this show rolling with no more than, a couple weeks, possibly a month or two in between series releases. So I figured that's all I'm going to cover, just the Disney Plus Marvel series. Well, you can see it clearly did not work out that way. I never expected to be on hiatus this long. I have been doing stuff, I have several other podcasts that I record throughout the week, but Marvel Plus has kind of been on hiatus, and I feel terrible about it. And I miss you guys. Like, I want to do this podcast. It's one of my favorite podcasts to do. I get to interact with guests a lot more. I get a lot more feedback from viewers and listeners, and I just love doing Marvel Plus. It's so much fun, and I hate that it's been so long. I think since the last Marvel series proper that we did was She-Hulk, and that was that ended in November. I think early November, late October, something like that. That's a long time, and it's like, I don't know. People are probably thinking the podcast is dead. Well, it is not dead, my friends. But I think I'm just going to have to adapt and overcome here. Like, what are we going to do? And that's kind of what this episode is about. I wanted to kind of get your guys' input, let you know what I'm thinking, and we can figure out how to move forward here. Because if this podcast remains solely about Disney Plus Marvel series, we're going to be waiting several more months before we get back into it, for one. And for two, who knows when they're going to institute more delays and we're going to go on a longer hiatus. Who knows, how long we're going to sit in between Marvel series. And I want to keep doing this podcast on a regular basis. I don't want such long breaks. I'll be honest, the breaks were welcome in between, especially when you did like a 9-episode series plus a preview episode plus a roundtable episode. It was nice to have a couple weeks off before the next Disney Plus series, but 8 months, this is ridiculous. And I'm always doing the movie reviews, at least the retro movie reviews over on the Patreon. If you guys are interested in that, go check it out, marvelplus.com, or patreon.com/Marvel Plus. And the link will be in the show notes. But there's not enough movies, there's not enough series, there's not enough anything to keep this going, weekly or bi-weekly or even monthly lately. So I just wanted to kind of get into that today and what my plans are tentatively for the show, and kind of get your guys' input on what you would like to hear from Marvel Plus. So the first idea I had for putting out content that is not reviews of the Disney Plus Marvel series with a guest and me talking about the show episode by episode is I was thinking of doing an MCU news, and it would be periodical, right? It would be as needed. So you might get an episode every week, but you might not. You might get an episode every couple of weeks. Whenever prominent news comes up about the MCU, I would record a podcast about it, put it out. Or maybe I would wait until a couple of things pile up so that it's a nice, juicy episode for you guys to listen to. But that was one idea that I had, that because there is always news coming out, whether it's the delay of this project or that project, or how well this film did in theaters, or Jonathan Majors got arrested for assault. Like, these kind of things we could be talking about right here on the show, and I could be interacting with you guys about it. And I just feel like I'm already doing that anyway with my friends. Why not, make it into an episode of Marvel Plus? Why not? So that's my kind of big idea. A big wow idea. Like, so inventive, right? I feel like every other Marvel podcast already does this. But like I said, I was trying to have a different brand. I was trying to be a little different about it. I was trying to have this really clean timeline of podcasts. When you looked at my podcast, you would see episode, and then maybe a top 10, and then it would be like episode, and it would be just all breakdowns through the years. And I think I'm just going to have to abandon that idea of having such a clean feed. I wanted this pristine feed. I don't know why I like stuff like that, but I do, where it's just the one thing. That's why I've never really instituted individual podcast art on my show, because I like it all to be really uniform and on brand. I like it to all be the Marvel Plus logo on every single episode. I enjoy other podcasts that do that create a thumbnail for every single episode. And honestly, I think that's fun. I do it for my YouTube videos all the time. But I was trying to do something a little bit different with Marvel Plus. But you know what? Yeah, change is imperative. Change is necessary. Adapt or die. And I certainly don't want the podcast to die, and I don't think you guys do either. I want to continue to grow, continue to expand, continue to reach a larger audience. And I'm not going to do that by waiting around for Marvel to put series out. So here we are. And these are my thoughts on how to move forward. I'm certainly welcome your guys' thoughts. If there's something else you would like to see on the Marvel Plus feed, besides MCU news and breakdowns of individual episodes of every series and roundtable episodes for every series, let me know. I'm open to it. I'm open to at least putting some thought into it. So if you have an idea that maybe I could use for the show, let me know. Please reach out, Instagram or Twitter at RealBrettScott, or you can email the show directly at marvelpluspodcast@gmail.com. Now we've kind of got that all the way, like what my tentative plans are for the channel, for the show. I want to talk a little bit about the current state of the MCU, right? Not just the delays, which really suck. I mean, I think we can all agree that like this is like not what we were expecting for this year. We were expecting to get Secret Invasion early in the year. We were expecting like four or five movies this year, and it doesn't look like that's going to happen. A lot of them are being pushed into 2024, which sucks. It looks like we're still going to get X-Men 97, which I'm really looking forward to. We're going to get Secret Invasion, but just way late. We're not getting it until June 21st. They finally announced that. What else? X-Men 97. We've got Loki season 2, which I'm really looking forward to. But like, there's all these delays. There's all this stuff going on. I think the president of what I guess not Marvel Entertainment, but Marvel Studios was let go. Not Kevin Feige. He's like the top guy. But like his kind of next in charge, or partner in crime, was let go. And I don't know what that means for the MCU. I don't know if they're struggling. I don't know if something's going on. Like, are they trying to save money? Are they flailing? Are they getting, returns that they were not expecting when it comes to these films and series? I don't know. But I will be the first to admit that Phase 4 was a departure from what we're used to, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. I give them credit and props for trying new things and doing things differently, and giving us different types of MCU content, not sticking to the formula for every single project. I love that. I think everyone was getting a little tired of the formulaic Marvel MCU film, and I think that everyone was excited for these series and other projects that they were going to do. And some of these movies that might be a little different, and bringing the X-Men in and bringing in an R-rated Deadpool film. There's a lot to be excited about, but I feel like interest in the MCU is waning. I see it. I see it in pop culture. I see it in society. I see people not being as excited, not enjoying the films as much. And I don't know if that's just superhero fatigue. I don't think so. I think that there's still plenty of interest in superhero everything. Sorry. But, and I'm certainly still very excited for future projects. But like I said, I'll be the first to admit Phase 4 was not, it wasn't Phase 3, but that's to be expected as well. It's kind of a reset. It's like a brand new phase, a brand new giant overarching storyline. And we've got to meet new characters, and it's kind of like Phase 1 of the MCU. Some of the films were good, some were not that great, but it all, coalesced into this awesome 3-phase story that ended beautifully. And I don't know if they'll ever top that again. Probably not, and that's okay. But what I wanted to talk about here is not just the current state, not just where we're at right now and how people are feeling about the MCU right now, but my desire to keep hope alive. Because while I'm not excited about every single project coming up, I'm definitely going to cover them all. But I'm not, they're not lighting my pants on fire. I'm not absolutely loving the idea of everything that we've got on the slate. Now, while that's true, there is some stuff I am super, super excited for. Daredevil Born Again. I am so pumped for Daredevil Born Again. It's probably my most anticipated, or very close to being my most anticipated Marvel thing coming up. Right up there with Captain America New World Order. I can't wait for that. We haven't even seen anything from it yet, but it's just this idea of the new Captain America and just, Anthony Mackie in the role. And not only that, New World Order, this is going to be some serious governmental military espionage shit. I cannot wait to get into this. It's some of my favorite stuff. I love Black Widow. I loved all the Cap films. Those are probably my favorite parts of the MCU, is the really grounded stuff, and most especially the Captain America films. And I don't think it needs Chris Evans to be fantastic. So I'm really looking forward to Captain America New World Order. And then obviously, like I said, I'm really pumped for X-Men 97. I don't know how much that ties into the MCU proper. And I don't even know if I'm going to be covering that series episode by episode, but I absolutely can't wait for it. I mean, the original X-Men, the animated series, is what got me into the X-Men to begin with, way back in the early 90s. It's the reason I first bought an X-Men comic. And fell in love with the character of Wolverine, and that led me to loving the MCU and all of this stuff. It all started with X-Men the animated series in 1992. So yeah, I'm super pumped for X-Men 97. Can't wait to return to that world. And if you haven't been listening already, my buddy Ryan Fraseri has a podcast called Talkin' Snicked. I've been a guest over there many times. One of the things he does over there, in addition to covering Wolverine comic book content, is he has been going through the entire original X-Men the animated series episode by episode, having a guest on, kind of like what I do here on Marvel Plus, but for X-Men the animated series, a different guest on every episode, and breaking down. And I mean, he does these awesome 2-hour episodes, sometimes 2-hour plus episodes, breaking down a 22-minute episode of X-Men the animated series. But such great conversations he's having with guests over there. If you haven't checked out Ryan's podcast, it's called Talkin' Snicked, the Wolverine Show. Please go check that out. It's one of my favorite podcasts, period. I've listened to every single episode, some of them numerous times. If you're a fan of Wolverine, it's a shoo-in. I mean, it's an absolute must. But also, if you're a fan of X-Men the animated series, please go check that out. Please go check it out, because like I said, not only his love of the show, but his guest's love for the show is so apparent. And it's a lot of fun being a guest over there as well. And he's also always looking for new guests. So if you're interested in that, reach out to me. I'll reach out to him. I'll put you in touch with him. Let me know, because he would love to have Any and all comers, anyone is welcome to come and talk about X-Men the Animated Series. All you have to do is have a general love for X-Men the Animated Series. So if that was part of your childhood or something that you've revisited in recent years, then let me know, and I'll put you in touch with Ryan, because a lot of fun over there. Anyway, super excited for that project, and just the entrance of the X-Men into the MCU, the live action X-Men into the MCU. It's so exciting to me. Like, it's like a new beginning, and I don't think we're getting that until after these three phases are over. Like, I don't think we're really going to get into hardcore X-Men storylines until after the Kang storyline plays out. I think Secret Wars is kind of going to be the catalyst to X-Men in the MCU, and then I think we go, full on X-Men. I think we actually probably kind of take a break from Avengers stories and just lean hard into X-Men stories for the future. And I hope the MCU isn't like watered down so much by then. That's what I'm worried about right now, is that if people get fatigued, if people don't keep the hope alive, by the time the X-Men films start coming out, there's not going to be as much enthusiasm for them. And that would just make me so sad, because, above all, I'm an X-Men fan. Above all this Avengers stuff, all the MCU stuff we've seen so far, I am a massive X-Men fan. X-Men comics, X-Men animated series, all of them. Wolverine, X-Men characters, Deadpool, Excalibur, Cable, like everything. X Factor, Generation X, everything X-Men, I absolutely love. So, and I'm not a connoisseur of the X-Men. I'm not an expert in X-Men history, but everything that I've engaged with X-Men, I've absolutely loved, and it's my favorite kind of comic book fandom, right up there with Batman. So, that's like, and that's far off. Don't get me wrong, though. I'm still excited about this stuff. I'm excited to see where the Kang storyline goes. And while I didn't think Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania was like the best film, I don't think it was bad. I thought Jonathan Majors was great in it. I thought it was a run-of-the-mill, middle-of-the-road MCU film. It was all right. And I did a review of it if you want to go check it out. I think it's the episode before this one on the feed. Go check it out if you're interested. Or check out the video version over on Patreon if you want to go check that out for a couple bucks a month. But yeah, like I said, every project is not going to blow me away. Am I super pumped about Marvels? Not really, but I am very excited to see Ms. Marvel on the big screen. Like, that's what's most exciting to me about the Marvels. But that's not my most anticipated project by far. But there's plenty of stuff to keep me interested. An 18-episode Daredevil series, 3 times, double the size of the longest MCU series that we've had, and 3 times as long as all of the other series. It's crazy to think that I'll be recording an episode for like 20 weeks straight to cover that series. So, but I can't wait for it. Like I said, series wise, that's probably my most anticipated, but I'm also super pumped for Secret Invasion. I have been ever since we saw the trailer for it way back in November, something like that, December maybe. We saw that trailer and it was like, yes, I can't wait. And it said that it was going to come out in early spring. No, now it's going to come out the first day of summer. So that's disappointing, but I'm keeping hope alive, and I hope through my podcast to keep hope alive for everyone else, for MCU fans. I hope that my podcast can be a place to come and be excited and enthused about the MCU. And you'll never hear me, I'll tell you when I don't like something or I don't think it's great. Thor: Love and Thunder. But this is never going to be the podcast where I shit on the MCU. It's not going to happen. I'm sorry. I love it too much. They've given me too much for me to just sit around and shit on them. And to be honest, I don't think most of the stuff is worth being shit on. I think it's good stuff. It's not all top tier, but it's at least good. I look forward to and enjoy almost every single thing that the MCU has put out. So that being said, like I said, this is the place to come if you want to be enthused, if you want to be excited about the MCU, if you want to keep the MCU hope alive. This is the podcast to listen to. Yeah. So really, that's pretty much all I got, guys. That's gonna do it for today. Please reach out and let me know what you think about any and all of this stuff that we've talked about, whether it's the idea of the current state of the MCU, where it seems like enthusiasm is waning, or just keeping hope alive for the future of the MCU or the future of this franchise. Or maybe you think I'm wrong. Maybe you think the MCU is already dead. The MCU as we knew it no longer exists. Let me know. I miss you guys. I miss you guys, and I want to interact again. I want the back and forth again. While I'm probably not going to have guests on for a while because there's no series until Secret Invasion. I think I may have a guest, and I may put right onto the regular feed a review of Guardians 3, which that's another thing that I'm not super crazy enthused about, but the trailer looked really good, and trailers can be deceiving. Yes. But I love the Guardians films so far. And so until I'm disappointed by one, I'm going to keep the hope alive. I'm going to keep the faith, and I'm going to go see it. And I'm going to stay enthused for it until it's over. And then we'll see. But I guarantee it's not going to be bad. It's like pizza, right? The MCU to me is like pizza. It's not all the best, but it's all pizza. It's all pretty damn good. It's better than not having the MCU. That's how I look at it. I'll take a couple movies that aren't top tier to have the ones that are. So anyway, also, look, if you guys are interested, go check out the Marvel Plus Patreon, because like I said, though I'm not putting out as many episodes over here lately, I have been putting out episodes for the patrons over there. I'm making my way currently retroactively through the MCU, starting with Iron Man, and going through the films in order of release, having guests on each week. It's been a lot of fun doing that. It's so fun to go back and know where it's going to go, and then judge the movie by that standard, by I know what this leads to. I know how this is woven into the other stories and how it becomes, this epic 3-phase event. And it's been a ton of fun. So come check it out if you're interested. Not only that, there's video versions of all the regular podcast episodes. Whenever I have guests on and I'm talking to someone, we post a video version of that podcast over there without any ads or anything like that, or intros. You don't have to listen to me pitching the Patreon and pitching, telling you to email the show and all this. You don't have to listen to all that. You get straight into the conversation, and you get a video version of that. So like I said, if you're interested in that, getting those kind of perks, go check out the Patreon. It's fairly inexpensive. It's very inexpensive. It's one of the cheapest Patreons I've seen. So please go over there, support the show if you're interested. It really does help for me to buy new equipment and stuff, and put out great content, and to continue to do that and upgrade the stuff that I have, and software and all that, and allows me to go and do these live shows like I did at GalaxyCon back in December. So yes, please, if you're interested, go support the show over on Patreon at patreon.com/Marvel Plus. And if you're interested in being a guest on Marvel Plus proper to break down an episode of Secret Invasion or any of the other shows we got coming up, you want to be on one of those episodes where I break down an episode of Daredevil Born Again, let me know. Reach out. I'm always looking for new people to bring on the show. We have a lot of recurring guests, but I'm always looking for new people, and you don't have to be some MCU pro. You don't have to know everything. You don't have to have deep cuts comic book knowledge. All you have to do is be a general fan of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I would love to sit and talk to you about that fandom and break down an episode of one of the series. So reach out at Real Brett Scott on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. I'm everywhere, man. I'm everywhere. You can find me. Just look up Brett Scott on Facebook. I'm over there. Tons of podcasts where you can listen to me, where you can reach out. that aren't Marvel related, but are most definitely pop culture related. I'll put the link to all those podcasts and my YouTube channel and all that in the show notes. So if you're interested, you can check me out over there. But it's just so much fun getting the new perspectives all the time, the different perspectives on the MCU. I think that's what makes Marvel Plus different than a lot of shows, and what makes it fun for me is just meeting new people all the time that share this fandom. It's like we're like growing this little family, and I interact with these people outside of the podcast all the time. I'm always messaging back and forth with people who have been guests on the show. I've made a lot of friends through this podcast, and that's probably my favorite part about it, is like I have this community that I didn't really have before, that didn't really exist before, all because I decided to make a Marvel podcast. And I love that. I love that. I love that that exists. I love that camaraderie exists. I love that we're all friends and we all get along. We don't always agree on every project, on every idea, but we all share a love for this content. Anyway, let's see. Lastly, if you're interested in Marvel Plus merch, there will be a link in the description, or you can check out I'll just put the link in the description. There's all kinds of stuff over there. You've got t-shirts, hoodies, coffee mugs, all that sort of stuff. So you can, rep Marvel Plus and spread the good word. And we've got a really awesome design over there by my good buddy Gerald King, who designed it himself. Really awesome design that really represents like the entire MCU. Like it says Marvel Plus with Brett Scott, and it's got like a She-Hulk like in the background, and it's got like each letter of Marvel. It like represents a different character from the MCU. It's really cool, and he designed it himself. So please go over there and check that out. That's probably the coolest design we have in the store. So, but then we've got like regular logos and different logos you've never seen for Marvel Plus, and I'm always looking to add to that. I'm always looking for new designs. If you guys have any designs, please submit them. Send them to the email, marvelpluspodcast@gmail.com. And then I'm always looking to create some myself. So keep an eye on the Marvel Plus merch store. Like I said, link in the show notes / description, whatever kids are calling it these days. And go check out what designs are there, and just keep an eye out, because like I said, always looking for and putting out new designs over there. All right. That's going to do it, kids. That is a wrap. Thank you all so much for sticking with me through this 8-month hiatus. As always, my name is Brett Scott, and this has been Marvel Plus.